Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to The Mention. I'm Serena.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Ariana, and this is your weekly buzz of everything we've been buzzing about in pop culture this week.
Now, this is a really special episode because we have the dynamic duo special guest, Chloe and Halle, coming on here soon. But before we dive into that, we have some hot tea for you guys.
Very hot.
I don't know if you guys heard, but The Weeknd dropped some new music, and it is juicy. Ari, what do you have for us?
Okay, so I was just, on the train this morning on my way into work, listening to the 6 new Weeknd tracks. Guys, some of these lyrics, so the very first song is called Call Out My Name, and it might as well be called Selena Gomez. Like, it is clearly all about Selena.
And you were saying there's a lot of Selena and a lot of Bella, too. Right?
Yes, so The Weeknd released he's calling it an album. It's only 6 songs, but there's a few songs where it's clearly about Selena, and then there's another one about Bella. So the first one, Call Out My Name, he basically gets into how it begins. We found each other. I helped you out of a broken place. You gave me comfort, but calling for you was my mistake. Which, yeah, that was a little we know that he's probably talking about Selena, but where it gets real juicy is when he says, I said I didn't feel nothing, but baby, I lied. I almost cut a piece of myself for your life. So it sounds like The Weeknd was saying that he almost gave Selena his kidney because he loved her, and then she broke up with him and went back to her ex. Y'all, that is real. I'm sorry, but The Weeknd went from Starboy to spilling the tea.
And there is another line, too, where he was like, basically, you just kept me around until you decided if you wanted to go back to Justin Bieber, right?
Yep, he does. And he's like, I want you to stay even though you don't want me, girl. Why can't you wait? Please call out my name. And you hear the emotions in the song.
He's
you can tell he is heartbroken.
Honestly, good, because music is a really great cathartic way to get over a breakup. So
well, and then there's another.
Serena's like, I've written a few songs myself.
She's like, I've written some lyrics. But there's also another song that, like you were saying, we're pretty sure is about Bella, where he talks about how he basically says that this girl. There's 2 songs. One is about sex, and he talks about the girl doing some equestrian-like moves. I won't get too. This is a rated PG-13 show, but he talks about how the girl has some equestrian-like moves. Bella rides horses, so we're pretty sure that that's about her.
Yeah.
There's also another
song about?
Right, and there's another song about how he is not interested in a relationship or love, but he basically is saying girl, but you can always come back for the sex, essentially. So yeah,
I'd sure be kind of pissed if I was Bella. Thanks.
Yeah,
and he make a comment about her life too.
Yeah,
very intricate.
Yeah, he basically is all those nights when you're lonely and by yourself and you're thinking about taking your life. You can call me and I'll still give some
life.
Yeah, it gets real juicy in there, you guys. So I would highly recommend
I don't know if I like that.
if you need a little bit of tea on this Friday.
That's a little too much.
It's a little too personal. It's
kind of that's a little extreme.
I get it, Weeknd, your heart's broken, but it's kind of you can't share all of
a
it.
chill pill, dude.
And also,
you
can't make it so obvious.
He talks a lot about his pill usage on another song. He's like, to get out of my blues, I use the red pills. He just is opening all the way up on this album. So I suggest if you want a new album for this Friday and a little bit of tea, check out The Weeknd's new album. It's on Apple Music now.
I will be listening to that on the train. And you know what else I'm going to be listening to? Chloe and Halle's new album coming out. The Kids Are All Right. It is amazing.
It's out now, you guys. It's so good.
Only we could talk to them about it.
Only.
That
would be so fantastic.
Guys, please welcome our special guest, Chloe and Halle.
Hi. Welcome, guys. Good to see you. Oh, thanks for having us.
We're so happy.
So first off, congrats on The Kids Are All Right. It's an amazing album. It's your debut album that you produced and you wrote, which is incredible.
Thank you.
So when you first started the creative process, was there a certain message or theme that you really wanted to convey through this album?
Yes, well, it definitely just came organically. Writing this album in our living room, it's a bit of being very vulnerable and just pouring out your diary into all of these songs. So as we were choosing the songs, we kind of started to notice this theme of empowerment and of inspiration and of feeling like you can overcome your insecurities and growing into yourself as a young woman. And the theme that was already there was The Kids Are All Right in one of our songs, and all of the songs kind of molded around that one. So we were like, oh, maybe that's what we should call the album. Yeah.
I have had this album on repeat literally since you dropped it. It's so good. And The Kids Are All Right is one of my favorite songs, actually, by the way. So that was a good album title choice.
Thank you.
So we actually debuted the behind-the-scenes video that you guys did for the album, and you're kind of rolling them out over the next few weeks.
Yes.
Why did you guys want to give your fans an inside look into the behind the scenes of the album?
Yes, well,
It's so much fun creating and the whole process behind of what everyone sees when it's finished. And so we're always documenting everything, the whole process when we were creating and writing our songs. We had our photo booth on our computer, so we have like all the memories of when we created the songs. And I just think it's important and special to share with other young cool kids that you can do whatever you put your mind to. Like you just be free and creative and show that process so they know what to do, how to do it, and all that good stuff. So
Yeah. So much together, but we've never worked together professionally.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that would be fun, but also very challenging.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you two learned about each other through the process that maybe you didn't know before?
Oh, yes. Well, for me, I've definitely learned patience with my sister and in this
That
whole,
is needed with sisters. We know.
yes. And it's super fun when you get to work with your best friend and when you're working so closely together on something that's so personal. It makes sense to only do it with somebody who understands your heart and understands your intentions. And it just makes it all the more fun.
She was so sweet. I was like, shout out to Amaya, my sister. Love you, girl.
So the season finale of Grownish premiered. And all about it. So Zoe had to choose between Cash, Luca, and Aaron.
yes.
So tough decision. I'm happy with who she chose with. I won't give it away. Would you guys choose the one who would risk it all for you, the one that you don't have, the one you don't have to change yourself for, or the one who challenges you?
Ooh, I would have to say,
You know, when the time comes, I think it would be a mixture of all of them. You know, I think they should have all of those qualities. Because, you know,
That was a perfect
they're all
answer.
great. Yeah.
I'm just like swooning everything you guys say.
Why do you have to winners?
It's the way they say it, too. You guys are married.
So in one of the videos you guys did about the album, you talked about how you listened to some of your favorite theme songs, like the Proud. I love that you said the Proud Family because that's like one of my favorite theme songs.
Right?
When you were
Yes.
writing the Grownish theme song, but I was interested to know what else you guys watching right now in addition to Grownish.
So right now we are watching Black Mirror, The Handmaid's Tale. I am so excited for season 2. It comes out next month, April 25th.
I just recently watched that trailer. That was
that
took me on a
so
ride.
intense.
I'm so excited, and we also love our reality television.
Yes.
Yeah.
Real
Love and
Housewives.
Hip Hop, Real Housewives,
Yep.
Love After
Real Housewives of
Lockup.
Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay, because that is the good
Just
one.
Atlanta, because
Yeah.
New York, I think, is the best.
Beverly
New York is
Yeah.
good.
Beverly
Beverly
Hills
Hills is funny.
Savannah?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm all for her. So you mentioned that in your behind the scenes that Beyonce told you to do a compilation of songs
Yes.
for your video instead of just one. How involved was she in making The Kids All Right?
Yes. Well, what we love about Beyonce is that she gives us the creative freedom to do what we want to do. That's always been what's been first. So normally it's just me and my sister creating it all in the living room and just coming up with a batch of songs, and then once we feel confident, taking it to her and then getting her input. And, you know, learning from her is so cool because she sends back notes, and, you know, it's really cool how she says, like, take a piece of this song and maybe try it in this song. And then we're like, oh, cool, we never would have thought of that. And little tips and tricks that she has taught us along the way, we're now starting to do in our songs. And, you know, it's really cool. Her ear is amazing.
Is it surreal to work with Beyonce? Like to be like, Beyonce writes its notes back.
It's such a surreal feeling, and like we were so happy knowing that she likes our songs and the music, because like honestly my family and her validation is the only validation I need. Yeah, but we just love her so much. She's truly a great person.
So you're getting a lot of validation because a lot of fans are loving this album. Like I'm just seeing it everywhere.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We love it. We have to know, what is next for you guys?
Yes. Well, now we are going to start performing. We do Coachella.
I'll
And-
be there.
Yeah, yay!
We're gonna be on it.
Yay!
Just brought to the stage.
Thank you. We're so
I'm not
excited.
going, I'm so sad.
Oh, it's okay.
But I will be there in spirit.
Yeah, Instagram stories.
Yes.
She's like social media girl.
FaceTime them.
Yes. Let's all
Smart.
FaceTime together. Can we do that?
Yeah.
What besides Coachella?
Ooh, so with an album, there always comes tour, so we can't wait to like have that and talk about it and all that good stuff. And you know, we're just living life, having fun. We got to do Jimmy Kimmel and Trevor Noah, The Daily Show, the other day, so that was really cool, debuting our new song. So we can't wait to perform more. Yeah.
That's amazing. You guys got to come on the Mention with us. And we're so
Yes.
happy.
And like slightly matching, but not quite matching.
Right? Right?
Our set too, because we went for the blue vibe.
I know,
I
it's so cute.
I love it.
Oh, guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We love you. We love the album.
love you guys.
Check it out soon.
And make sure to watch Grownish on Freeform and then check out their album, The Kids Are Alright. Amazing. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye. Good luck, guys. See you at Coachella.
Yeah, actually though.
The amount of jealousy I feel of not going to Coachella with you guys is
You're messing,
everything.
you're messing up.
Gosh, they are. I mean,
Adorable.
I hear them and the way they speak, and I'm just like,
way
what
they
was I
speak.
doing at that age? I was
And so
not.
angelic the way they speak and their style and
You
everything.
know what I love too is every time before they answer a question, they take a pause and they think their answer through.
They're
and I
very
think
thoughtful.
they are.
Yeah,
Love
you can
them.
tell that like Beyonce is like they have like a good mentorship from her.
And not to mention, they're like my style icons. Everything they wear, I'm like,
Everything.
wow, such great style.
All right, so speaking of Beyonce, you guys, it is time for the hot tea. I would say this question that we're about to try to answer is probably the biggest question, not of the week, but of the year. The question,
And it's only April.
who bit Beyonce? Who bit Beyonce? Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun!
Clap hands.
In case you've been living under a rock this week and have no idea what I'm talking about, I have all the details of this crime and investigation for you. Let's go down a timeline of the whole Who Bit Beyonce gate, starting on January 31st, 2018. So comedian Tiffany Haddish, you might know her from Girls Trip. She's been making the rounds this year. She's having a really big moment right now. She did an interview with New York Magazine back in January where she talked about a selfie she took with Beyonce. We're going to show you this selfie. This was back in December, it turns out, at an after party for Jay-Z's 444 concert in LA.
Also, it's hilarious the way Beyonce is like in her hair.
Yeah, like she's like kind of like trying
like,
to
let's
be.
take a
Yeah, like
picture,
she's
but
like
let's not?
yeah.
Beyonce's
She's like,
right, Tiffany there?
Well, that's the thing. You don't really know. So in January, Tiffany did an interview with Vulture where she talked about this selfie and the party, and she revealed back in Jan. She said something had went down with somebody at the party, right? I'm not at liberty to say what went down, but Beyonce was telling me to have a good time, and I was like, no, I'm gonna end up fighting this bitch. And she was like, no, just have fun, Tiffany. So basically, some type of altercation situation happened, but we didn't really know what. Then in March, DJ Khaled released a song called Top Off, where it was with Jay-Z and Beyonce. On one of Beyonce's lines, she said, if they're trying to party with the queen, they're gonna have to sign a non-disclosure. So of course the internet took that and ran, and they were like, that was at Tiffany for even talking about the fact that there was an altercation at a party involving Beyonce, right? Then this past week on Monday, March 26th, Tiffany's cover story with GQ magazine came out. Now remember, cover stories, that means that the interview happened back in January before Beyonce had said, please stop talking about me. So this interview had already happened in January, but just now came
I'm
out.
sure Tiffany was like,
Right. So it was like, so
shoot.
Tiffany clearly already probably was like, let me stop talking, I've said too much. But this interview had already happened. So it just came out this past week.
Oh, Tiffany was
and
probably- ooh.
Yeah. So in the story, Tiffany explains the full story of what happened at that party. She says that an actress who she declined to name had a run-in with Beyonce where she bit her. She says, I said to Beyonce, did this girl really just bite you? And she said, yeah. I was like, she's going to get her ASSB tonight. And she was like, Tiffany, no, don't do that. That BITCH is on drugs. She's not even drunk. That B is on drugs. She's not like that all the time, so just chill. So basically, something happened where an actress bit Beyonce on the face. Tiffany witnessed it, got upset, was willing to fight this girl for Beyonce, and Beyonce was like, no, chill. Like, that girl's just on drugs. Like, we're not going to make it into a thing. So that whole story came out in the GQ cover story.
I would not want to be
I didn't even realize how much time had passed with the GQ cover story,
Yes.
because that's a big thing.
Because it was a big thing. Like, the Beehive knows. Like, the Beehive knows that if you are talking about Beyonce, like anything happening in her life, that's a dangerous move. So the fact that this just came out and now everyone's looking at Tiffany like, ooh, girl.
I'm scared of the Beehive.
Right. Yeah. Well,
No.
speaking of,
Yes, they
that
don't
later
play.
that
They
day
don't
on
play.
Monday, on March 26th, the Beehive and Twitter just went crazy trying to figure out who was the actress that bit Beyonce. So there was a whole process of elimination that happened. The effort was fueled by Chrissy Teigen, who was tweeting, basically trolling all of us. And
Chrissy would just stir the pot
she
a
was
bit.
just stirring up the pot. She basically was like, before I leave this earth, I need to know who did it. And then she was like, oh wait, I just found out who it is. I never would have guessed who it was, but I've said too much. And so everyone was like, wait, Chrissy, girl, tell us, who is it? Like the Beehive was...
She loves stirring the pot too.
She does.
She
She was like
loves
totally
it.
stirring the pot because she knows that, like, she even at one point tweeted, like, I had to ask John to make sure it wasn't me. So Chrissy Teigen is just crazy. So so the Beehive then
hilarious.
proceeded to use all of the clues that we have, which is that it happened on a specific date in December in LA after Jay-Z concert. So using social media, the Beehive basically, process of elimination, narrowed down everyone who could have possibly been involved in Who Bit Beyonce Gate.
All right.
So to get down to the bottom of this, we invited our resident conspiracy expert, Sojourner Ellaby.
Woo! Welcome, Sojourner.
Thank you for
case.
your contributions to this important investigation.
This is a serious matter. We have a fierce perpetrator on the loose, and we need to get to the bottom of this because
we
this is just
absolutely
absolutely unacceptable. Now, before we get into the tea, everybody, we have 4 suspects. Let's take a look at them. We have Sara Foster, Sanaa Lathan, Tiffany Haddish herself, and Lena Dunham, okay? Now, I'm just going to hop right into it. My vote for Becky with the stank teeth is Sanaa Lathan, okay? This girl, now, Tiffany is a chatty patty. We all know this. But I highly doubt that she would get out there spewing some false information. So if she's telling sources it was Sanaa Lathan, then I'm thinking it was Sanaa Lathan. Now, speaking of a timeline, Tiffany had a comedy show in January where she mentioned the biting. She didn't say Beyonce's name, but she was saying that there are actresses out here biting people, and she said the actress is somebody who dated rapper French Montana. Now, Sanaa Lathan, star of Love and Basketball, star of Brown Sugar, she dated French Montana.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That gave it away.
Okay.
And the Beehive has been pointing out that there's a lot of videos of Sanaa Lathan out there where she
There
is
are plenty. She
very wasted.
a little too much, if you
Yeah,
ask me.
so you
okay.
can kind of see that, like, maybe this could have happened if she
Okay.
was, like, real drunk.
Interesting.
Now, as you just saw, Sanaa did tweet. You know, she was like, "I love that you all think that I could have done this, but I never would have. If anything," she said, "if anything, it would have been a love bite." But like we said, she maybe thought this love bite was a love bite, but she might have been a little too
Can we see over a
intoxicated.
second? Where was this bite exactly? Was it
I
on
feel like
the
it was on the
face?
face. I feel like it was on the face.
Yeah, she said on her face. She bit her on her face.
Right, Beyonce.
Do you know how
Right.
much Beyonce's face is worth?
Right.
Actually,
You're gonna put
And
your
then I was
teeth?
wondering, maybe from that selfie we saw, maybe Beyonce was hiding the bite mark behind Tiffany Haddish, right? Could that be a possibility?
Whoa.
There's so many.
Oh!
Whoa.
I
This
know.
investigation
You're
is
real
wild.
smart.
I know.
I will say, people on the internet were savage too. After that tweet, if she's like, if I did do it, it'd be a love bite. And then they were sending emojis of O.J. Simpson being like, if I did do it, this is how I do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
And there were so many bees and lemon emojis and Sanaa Lathan's comments. I mean, it was just.
People tell on themselves all the time. When people lie, they always give too much information.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what, Sanaa? You were given too much information. You
Yeah.
did it, sis. I'm on to
My
you.
favorite comment was one fan wrote in Sanaa Lathan's comments, if you were a hungry girl, I could have made you some baked ziti. I was like, you know what?
I know there was food at the party. Like, I know there
Right?
was food.
Oh,
All right, so
God.
Probably just got too excited.
Okay, so
Another
who
one of-
else is on the list?
Another one of the suspects is Sara Foster, who, I'm not gonna lie, I actually didn't even know who Sara Foster was. I had to
It's on the
Google her.
VH1
She
show.
was on 90210 apparently.
And also, like, some show.
Right.
I love Sara Foster. She's one of my favorites to follow on Instagram, and she's a comedian, but she's known for doing really outrageous things. Like, she's very out of the box.
Right,
That's why I
which
was
that
kinda
was,
like,
yeah,
okay.
because at first I was like, maybe it's Jennifer Lawrence, but then of course
Right.
the Beehive very quickly was like, Google, nope, J-Law was in New York that night, couldn't have been her. So I was
J-Law's
like,
probably like, whew.
yeah, she was
That's
like,
right.
God, I went
yeah,
home
yeah.
that night.
So Sara Foster was the next suspect on the list, but she denied the rumors on Instagram. Actually, she wrote that it was flattering that anyone thinks that she could get that close to Beyonce, but it actually was not her. And then she also, it was funny, I think the Huffington Post had reached out to various people to see if it was them. Huffington Post actually confused Sara Foster with Jodie Foster. So they reached out to Jodie Foster's rep by accident.
Poor thing.
And Jodie Foster's rep was like, Jodie would never be a part of this basically
Yeah,
at
right.
all. Yeah,
Awesome.
so
Yeah.
there's been
Not
some
partying with
mix-ups in
Beyonce.
this investigation as well.
So then another suspect that everyone was saying was Lena Dunham. And if taking a step back, I could see it.
I
You're doing something
I
well.
could see it.
And the best part is Lena owns this part of her personality, and she actually tweeted and said, as the patron saint of she would do that, I didn't. And I think
epic.
that's
That's epic.
hilarious, and I believe her. So I think Lena is ruled out of there.
You know,
think
it's
so.
so
I
funny
think
how
so.
we're all like suddenly thinking like, now who has the type of personality that could bite Beyonce?
Beyonce,
Like that's not a
Because you
question
have to
I would
do
have
that.
ever
Yeah.
asked.
I
But
would.
now you're like thinking about it.
That
You're
has to be a quality. It's like you're funny, you bite Beyonce. You know, it's like how many.
But it makes it harder because Chrissy and Tiffany said it's somebody who you would never
All right.
think of.
So, thank you. Leading to suspect number 4.
Tell us.
Guys, what if it all goes back to Tiffany Haddish? It's kind of like when someone farts and they're like, who farted? It's like, Tiffany was like, who bit Beyonce? It was you. What do you guys think about this?
That's the face of somebody who.
I don't think
She likes
so.
stirring the tea. She likes stirring the pot. Like, I'm just saying.
I feel
think
like
it
she
could
wouldn't
be her.
play around with Beyonce like that on that kind of
knows.
level.
And I don't
like,
think
that's
she
too
tattle-
risky of a game to play.
And I don't feel like she'd tattle on herself so publicly. She did. I feel like if she's like, "Oh shoot, Beyonce, I'm sorry, I bit you last night."
Right.
But I don't think
I
she.
feel like
and
she
I don't think
would.
she'd interview.
I feel like she
you.
would. I feel like
She would definitely have a comedy special, be like, look, y'all, I was stripping one time,
Yes.
I bit Beyonce. Like,
Yes.
that would be
and
her
this
whole
is a part of her whole thing that the whole Beehive went crazy. Like, I'm all for it.
Unless it was like, I mean, the only thing I could see is if maybe that night they were tipsy and her and Beyonce were like, you know, it'd be so funny. What if we started this whole internet rumor?
That is the best
and
theory
then-
ever.
Yeah, like I feel like that.
But
I could see that
Beyonce's too
happening.
private for that, though. I feel like Beyonce's
But I feel like
not
Tiffany,
down
but
for that.
Tiffany's so funny that maybe she convinced Beyonce was like, girl, this is gonna be so funny. And Beyonce was like, all right, let's
Honestly,
try
if
it.
Beyonce drops an album tomorrow, then we know that's right.
And that's
She's
why
like
this
stirring
could
up some
all be
buzz.
publicity for an album coming for On the Grind.
Yes,
Thank
rumor
you.
has it April
'Cause-
4th, 4/4 is their favorite number, so that's the
Well,
rumor.
well, we
that
got our
Guys,
tickets,
this
so.
is,
Yes.
I feel like now for like the rest of the weekend, this whole week, I've just been sending my emails. Who bit Beyonce? Like, I'm like, what is happening? Who did it? I need to
Okay.
know.
On the count of 3, we're gonna say who we think bit Beyonce. 1, 2, 3.
Sarah Foster.
You said Sarah Foster?
I went rogue because I knew you guys were gonna say
What?
something.
I'm gonna just put this out there. I have a reliable source close to all of this who has said that a friend of a friend confirmed that Tiffany told them it's not Lisa.
See, told you.
Okay, yeah. All right.
So I'm just saying,
It's
can't confirm the
Throw in the
validity, but
And after she confirmed it a couple of times, like you were saying, Soj, before,
All right.
I feel like it is.
Well, thank you so much, Sojourner, for joining us
You
in
are
this
so welcome.
investigation. We
up
we
the
solved the
work.
problem.
Keep up
Thank you
the
for your
good
services.
Yes.
Voice us later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Now moving from a little Beyonce news, it's time to get lit. So this week we actually had a sit-down interview with the one and only Taraji P. Henson. Her new movie Acrimony drops today.
Dope.
Is out today. And so if you need to get your movie pass on this weekend, it's this dark thriller. So our senior entertainment writer Cecily Bowen sat down and talked to her about how she feels playing Tyler Perry characters, what's her dating deal breaker, and what's next for her. So check it out here.
So let's actually back it up a minute. What does the word acrimony mean? Because I thought it was so closely related to alimony. I thought it was a legal jargony term. That's not what it is. What does acrimony mean?
It means, it's like rage. I mean, it gets several different other terms, but rage. That's the way I put it, because she's so. That's how she's a ball of rage. She's mad. She can't let go because she feels like she needs to get revenge.
Yeah. So since we're doing vocab, let's go. If we had to describe this movie for someone who hasn't seen it, 3 words to just describe the film as a whole.
Roller coaster ride.
That's actually really good. So from the trailer and obviously what you're describing, the movie is about someone who has been pushed to the edge in their relationship. For you, what would you say one non-negotiable that you have in a relationship where you're like, okay, if this thing happens, I'm out because
Lying.
I am pushed.
Lying.
Lying. Mhm.
Lying, because if you lie, you'll do anything.
Yeah.
You know?
My mom used to say, if you lie, you'll steal. If you'll steal, you'll kill. And I can't
I
trust you.
I skipped over the middle part. I said, if you lie to me, you'll kill me. Because if you lie, you'll do anything. So you can't lie to me.
So this movie, it's a bit darker, and I think it's one of the movies that we're seeing lately with all black casts kind of tackling this like suspense, thriller, horror genre. I mean, even you and Idris Elba did No Good Deed. We had Get Out last year. Now we have Acrimony. Why do you think the time is ripe for people to really see black cast and black characters like really going for these really out there storylines and roles and characters and bringing these really intense stories to life?
Because those are our stories as well.
Yeah.
They're human stories. It doesn't really have color. It's just humans being humans.
Yeah. Now, shifting gears a little bit, a lot of people say that Tyler Perry movies often depict black women as like emotionally unstable or angry. And some people might say that Acrimony also fits into that as well. How would you respond to that critique?
Well, I'm just sorry that people judge this so much, but that's what humans do, right? You know, I just believe that you tell a story and it's up to the artist to give you the whys, why this person is the way they are. It's not like they don't exist. He's not snatching these characters out of the sky. These characters exist. And so, you know, my job is not to judge it. I do my job, and I do it as truthfully and honestly as I can. Therefore, I leave it up. Thank you. I leave it up for the audience to judge, because if I judge it, if I judge the characters that I portray, if I get on my high horse and say, this character is not good for the black community, well, what about that girl or that person out there that needs this story because they identify with it? I'm sorry that it makes you feel some kind of way, but somebody out there needs it. That's why it's a story to be told. I can't judge that as an artist, because if I do, I'm doing a disservice to this character and to that person in the world who needs this story, you know.
Thank you for that honesty. So you are obviously in Acrimony, which is out today. You're also on Empire as Cookie. Everyone loves Cookie. You did Proud Mary. And also a lot of people don't know that my girl is a producer too. Taraji's White Hot Christmas came from your production company. We're all super proud of that. Like, what else are you excited about this year? What else can people expect from you? What can we look forward to?
I finally got a comedy. Oh, thank you, God. And I start filming that April 25th of this year. And it's a remake of What Women Want, the Mel Gibson, Helen Hunt film.
I'm shook.
So it's a remake, and it's from the female's perspective, and so it's called What Men Want.
That is
Fellas.
So I don't know about you guys, but I am so excited to see that remake. I think it's going to be hilarious. But like we're saying, make sure to go see Acrimony out today.
Yes, and in other Get Lit news, the big question, aside from who but Beyonce this week, is where in the world is Gina Rodriguez? So the hit computer game series, which you guys are old enough to remember, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, right?
Carmen Sandiego was my jam. I played it so many times, I already knew all the clues. Like, I would fly through it. I was like, I won.
I wasn't.
It was a hit game. It was also like an animated series back in the 90s and 2000s, and now it's being turned into both an animated series for Netflix and a live action series. Sick. Yes, and Gina Rodriguez, which like this is probably the most on point casting I've ever heard ever. Gina Rodriguez is playing her in the live action version, and she's actually voicing the animated version as well. So, yeah, so I think this is like a perfect pairing for Netflix and for Gina.
You know, that's a really good Halloween costume that I'm gonna do. I think Carmen Sandiego, right? Like the red trench and like the brown.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's debuting next year.
All right, it's Carpet Diem time, guys. We're talking about all things fashion, and I want to give a shout out to my boy, I wish, Virgil Abloh. If you guys don't know who he is, you should, because he was just named the new artistic director of menswear at Louis Vuitton, making him the first African American to hold that position at a European luxury brand. That's huge.
It's big news. But one thing I thought that was interesting about this, actually Channing on our fashion team wrote about how, you know, Virgil is kind of like a mentee of Kanye's. He came up in the world of fashion with Kanye, and Kanye has often been shut out of a lot of these like fashion spaces, especially by brands like Louis Vuitton. So it's really interesting that Virgil is getting all of this love, but Kanye has always kind of been shut down because he's a little bit more vocal and divisive, and so Virgil's like,
why? That's why.
Well,
absolutely. I mean, he has a whole persona, and probably just like people.
Channing's big point that she made in the article was about how like, basically, Kanye's always been very pro-black. He's always been a little bit more like opinionated, and Virgil's always kind of just like slightly gone under the radar. So it's very interesting that of the two of them, Virgil's the one who ended up getting this kind of love.
Interesting.
Word.
All right, guys, now for our last segment, The Drop. You guys know I have to do a little country music shout out every now and again.
This is Emily's moment.
Thank you. So Casey Musgraves, she's one of the very few female artists in country music that's releasing new music, and she has an amazing album that's out today. It is called Golden Hour. And so she just recently did an interview with Billboard basically about Time's Up and Me Too, saying how it hasn't quite made it to country music. And basically this is kind of her stamp to be like, we are here, women are a part of country music, and we want to be played on the radio after a lot of controversial stuff happened. So she talks a lot about the double standards. Check out the full interview. It's a great read.
Oh my God, there's so much new music today. The Weeknd's
I
juicy
know.
music. Casey, we got Chloe and Halle. Also Haley Kayoko, if you guys know her, I wrote a story on her that's out today. Her
Can't
album
wait
is
to
really
read that.
great. It's a good Friday.
You better be listening to your jams this weekend, y'all.
Ooh. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you next Friday at noon.
Bye. We love you.